can't do it all himself, right? He can't carry the whole load of optimism along with Scott Bessent and his cabinet. The Republicans on the Hill have to jump in and start talking about the promise of America under these new policies.
All true, but first we should say this was a really big win for Republicans because their margin of power in the House is so narrow. They're picking up another vote. That gives Mike Johnson a lot more room. I mean, it's that close and that tight. Losing it would.
You know, Mickey Sherrill's out until in New Jersey.
But losing would have been just a disaster. Losing would have been a disaster. Also, there is, in the aftermath of this election, a debate inside the Democratic Party continuing about progressive candidates versus more moderate candidates. And there are many Democrats who are worried that Democratic primary electorates seem to pick the most progressive, the most radical. They picked a candidate who openly said she hated Nashville. She hated everything about Nashville. I mean, what more can you say to turn off the voters in an area? Nashville voted big for her, by the way, but she hated, in the region, she lost badly. So the Democrats have some real problems as evidenced by this. They had been spinning for weeks that a close defeat would be a big win for them. Well, no, it's not. It's a defeat. There are concerns for Republicans. There are plenty of concerns for Democrats, too.
Okay, so I want to address the Tennessee District 7 race. You've heard this cliche before. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I agree with Byron York's take on, I agree with everything that Byron York said. We definitely needed the cushion. A loss is a loss, but I think there should have been a bigger win. I never thought it would be a 20-point, 22-point victory. I just don't think that a candidate can pull those types of numbers when Trump isn't on the ballot. So a lot of people talked about Mark Green. He got plus 20, I believe it was, in 2024. Representative Mike Green that held that seat before he resigned. And then President Trump, of course, won that District 7 in Tennessee by 22 or 24. I can't remember the exact number, but over 20 points. And I just figure on off-year elections, especially when you have the party in power, that's not going to happen. Trump is not on the ballot. Now, I will say this, Trump will be on the ballot next year, whether you like it or not. He will be. A lot of Republicans are saying that he won't. And I think that's dangerous. He will be. The Democrats will put him on the ballot because they have nothing else to talk about. All they're going to do is try to make people angry so that people don't care about the good ideas or the solutions that Trump is bringing. They won't care if the economy is getting better. They won't care about any of that. The Democrat goal is to make Trump the bad guy, Republicans the bad guy. And that's what they're going to continue to do. But I think there's some lessons to be learned here. Again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Republicans, in my opinion, and Laura Ingraham was hitting on this, they've done a bad job of explaining what they inherited with Biden. You can't just say, I inherited a bad economy from Joe Biden. I'm sorry. That's just getting old. I mean, I get it. I understand it. I'm a political junkie. I know what's going on. Trump has had tons of accomplishments. This guy has accomplished so much in his first year. It's absolutely insane. I almost feel like he's a victim of his own success. He's accomplished so much. It's like, okay, what's next? What do we hit next? And I totally get that. But it's got to be the economy. You've got to focus on the economy, and you've got to switch to the economy as quickly as possible. Now, I believe that President Trump is doing that, but Republicans got to start doing that, and they've got to message correctly because it's not enough. I'm sorry. It's not going to work. I mean, I'm a blue collar guy. I see people every day, talk to people virtually every day. Talk politics often, and there are people out there that are hurting, that are blue collar workers that are like, hey, man, I love Trump, I support Trump, but I'm hurting a little bit. These tariffs are hurting a little bit, and tariffs, I like the way that Trump used tariffs. I've said that plenty of times before, to use it as a tool to get fair trade. I think China should be, they should pay tariffs out of the wazoo. I think we should work on fair trade with virtually everyone else that we can, while we're strengthening America, while we're strengthening American manufacturing to the best of our ability. I think so I like it in that sense. I like the fact that inflation brings down, obviously it brings down in inflation. It puts money in the treasury. but it does cost some products to go up, and people are feeling that pain. And we know that's true because Trump cut off tariffs for coffee beans from different places, Colombia, Brazil, so on, etc., and the price of coffee dropped. So we have to be honest about that. But I share that to say this: I don't think that race, even though it's a victory is a victory. It shouldn't have been that close with that left-wing nut, Afton Bain. It still should have been a double-digit win. It should have been a 12-point, 13, 14, 15-point win. Like I said, I never suspected a 20. But it wasn't. And the reason why it wasn't, because Republicans, obviously, people rest on their laurels. I get it. It's an off year. But I just don't think Republicans have been doing a good job of saying, hey, listen, I understand that you guys are feeling pain, even in this economy. I want you to know, just let me take you back. This is what we inherited from Biden. Remember the egg prices. Remember the gas prices. This is where we are now. This is where we brought you to. But the economy was so bad. And with the COVID lockdown, so many people lost their jobs, so on, et cetera. Things were so bad. This is what we've been able to accomplish. The big, beautiful bill has not kicked in yet. Once that kicks in, we're going to be able to accomplish so much more to create more affordability. But you got to remind people, this is where we were. This is what we've done. This is where we're going to take you. So stick with us. I promise you, we'll get you through this. And I believe that that is the reason why Afton Bain, even though she lost by 9 points, why she didn't lose by more. This should be a wake-up call for Republicans. It's also a wake-up call for Democrats. Again, Byron York was right. They keep electing left-wing nuts in their primaries. But the truth of the matter is, I believe that the Democrat Party is left. But what they're electing, or who's winning the primaries, or who these people are going for are the socialists. And that's not going to bode well in places like Tennessee. In Nashville, she did very well. Outside of Nashville, not so much. But conservatives need to understand, Republicans need to understand, no district is safe in the United States. I don't care if you consider it a red safe district. That's what you call it. You've called it in the past. That's not what it is now. These commies are coming for every single district. I can remember reading a story years ago about leftists literally moving to the Bible Belt, Missouri, and places around there in the Midwest, and starting to take over small, county or town seats, city commissioner, whatever it may be, local university, to literally change the culture in those areas. This is going on everywhere. But we did learn that AOC's reach is limited to some degree. But we also learned that socialism is growing in popularity. And the reason why it is because Afton Bain, Zoran Mamdani, and AOC, they don't even know what it is. And I guarantee you their voters don't know what it is. That's why it's incumbent upon you, frankly, President Trump and the Republican Party. I think they have, and President Trump has started this, but they've got to do it even more. They've got to tell people where we were under the Biden economy, what Trump has done, and what he'll continue to do. And I think that'll make that'll go a long way. But it's good to know the socialism is gaining in popularity. The good news is we still have a chance. Doors are still open. We can still tell people, if you explain to them where we were, where Trump has brought us, where we're going to be, the difference between free market economics and socialism, you got to tell people that. You got to tell people that. Also, Republicans got to message better. And I think we can possibly pull off a win in 2026. The midterms are going to be an uphill battle. There's no doubt about that. But we just got to continue to fight. We've got to people coming out of college nowadays that have come out of college in the last 10 or 15 years, they don't know what socialism is. They really don't. They don't know what an authoritarian is, or a dictator, Hitler even. That's why they can call Trump Hitler and nothing happens to them. I mean, these people are absolutely clueless. There's something that Trump did today that I thought was so magnificent as well. Where is it? He's terminating Biden's CAFE standards as far as cars are concerned. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. These are the types of things that not only Trump should do, but he's got to remind people of, because eventually that's going to cause the price of vehicles to come down. They put all of these price regulations, these climate regulations, fix these regulations onto these cars. So you have to build these cars that are far less reliable, cost a lot more money to build, have all these gadgets where they're so much more expensive to fix. It's absolutely insane. All for the sake of trying to get better fuel economy. Meanwhile, you're having to build so many different parts. It's insane. Same thing with electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, they're actually worse for the environment, not while they're running, but on the production side because of all of the minerals that they use in the batteries, the special rubber wheels that they have to use, that actually the tread tears up and even faster spits it out on the road. It's absolute nonsense that these cars are more safe for the environment. But the left wanted you to get into electrical vehicles and, frankly, eventually out of vehicles altogether. That's why they were trying to drive up costs. This is a big deal, lowering these CAFE standards. We'll play the video later, but kudos to Trump. This is what we got to continue to do to make sure that the Afton Bains and more AOCs don't take power in this country. Hey guys, Carl Jackson here for MyPillow. A major retail chain just canceled a massive order, leaving MyPillow with an overstock of classic MyPillows. Now it's your gain. For a limited time, MyPillow is offering their entire classic collection at true wholesale prices. You get the standard MyPillow for just $17.98. If you want more, upgrade to queen size for only $22.98 or king size for $24.98. Snag body pillows for just $29.98. And versatile multi-use pillows for just $9.98. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Carl, that is CARL, or call 800-858-0263. All right. Plus, when you order totals $75 or more, you'll receive $100 in free digital gifts, no strings attached. That's right. Premium pillows at unbeatable prices and bonus gifts to top it all off. Don't wait. Head to mypillow.com right now or call 800-858-0263. And don't forget to use the promo code Carl, CARL, to grab your standard MyPillow for just $17.98. That is insane. Can't beat that with a bat.